welcome to this week's edition of Red Wolf Roundtable. I'm Jacob Gator alongside Mr. Caton Marsh, my good friend and colleague. It's homecoming week, Caton. We've got some soccer, we've got some volleyball, and we've got, of course, football coming up after a big bye week. Soccer, had a loss, but they've got a few games left. Volleyball, a big victory over Texas State at home this week. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, football, no game to review, but a big game to look forward to here on Red Wolf Roundtable. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable, as we do not have any football to review this week, kind of a change of schedule. So we're just going to go directly into soccer. Sunday, a loss 2-0 to Georgia State. And we see here 2 shots versus none, 6 shots, 3 shots on goal. And interesting to note, you brought this up before the show, that 2 of our shots were called back.
Yeah, so this game, I would say, was probably a lot closer than what it actually seems like, just because of the fact that, like you just said, 2 of our goals were called back. One of them was because of a blocking foul, I believe, and it was a very questionable call. A lot of the fans didn't like it. It seemed like the goalie for Georgia State was laying on the ground a little too long, and that's what caused the call to happen. And then the second one, I can't really remember what happened, but it was a similar situation to the first one. So both our goals got called back, and it was a loss because of it. But that being said, it was still another disappointing loss for Arkansas State. There was not a lot of offense. Defense kind of failed. And, yeah, still another disappointing loss.
Yeah, and we do have, I believe, 2 more games left in the season for this soccer team. This past game was Senior Day, so congratulations to all of our seniors who have put in their work and time in this program. I want to shout out to them. And our record will improve to 3-6-4 and 1-5-1 in conference play.
Definitely a disappointing season, especially since what we saw in non-conference, and it hasn't really translated over to conference play. We've faced a lot of good teams, and we're about to face another really good team. But that being said, the offense has really stepped back. And like we said last week, the efficiency standards are there, but there's not a lot of the more attacking side of the offense, which you would like to see more, the more aggressive style, which we saw early on in that game, but it didn't come to happen the rest of it. So more aggressiveness, more offense, kind of what we want to see going forward.
Exactly. On a little bit of a lighter note, volleyball with a big home win against Texas State this weekend. A great team effort from these girls. Gluns, Madigan, and Kale all played spectacularly. You can see it here. Texas State had more kills. Arkansas State with the aces, though, and the blocks. Our defense did phenomenal in this game.
This is the first game stats, and we chose this one because it was a lot closer. We got a lot to see from that first game. It ended 3-2. That second game, they just obliterated Texas State, and it showed. And like you said, defense. Earlier this week, or the past week, we mentioned how Texas State has kind of taken a step back, and one of the things that would separate this team in Arkansas State and Texas State was the defense, and it happened. Blocks were insane this week. I think we had a total of over 20 blocks the 2 games that we played, more in the second game, with less sets played, we had 12 in that second game. Our point of attack at the initial serve kind of messed up Texas State. We saw a lot of aces for Arkansas State, and we had some problems early on in that first game. I got the chance to talk to one of our players, Erin Madigan, and she said that one of the things that they did that translated so well from that first to second game was being aggressive and knowing, well, we have the firepower. We know we can beat them on defense. They attacked that weak side blocking attack for Texas State, and ultimately that's kind of what separated Arkansas State in this game. And this is the first time since, I believe, 2013 that Arkansas State has beat Texas State back-to-back.
Yes, it is. Big shout out to Haley Gluns, who had a big weekend, but an even bigger shout out to Miss Addison Collum, who we have not had the chance to highlight this year, but we will today. Addison Collum had a phenomenal game for these Lady Red Wolves, just doing things outstanding. Here she is, 16 kills, 4 block assists, 30% attack percentage, and 18 points. She led the team in kills and points in, I believe this was the game 1.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that we like to point out every week is that we don't know who we're going to highlight. And that's the exciting part. We've done Caitlin Whitlock, we've done Deidreana Kale, and this is the first time we mentioned Addison Collum. She played amazing. Another person that played really good, Devin Lewis. This team, I can't stress enough how much talent there is everywhere. You like to highlight Haley Gluns. She's really good at the net. There is not a single person on this team, and we'll say it over and over again, like we did last week. The talent is everywhere, and you can expect someone to step up if someone takes a step back. But this team chemistry is unreal, and this makes this Arkansas State team so dangerous and so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And this team improves to 13-6 overall on the season, 6-2 in the Sun Belt. And they're doing so good that Coach Brian Gerwig gets himself a contract extension for, I guess, through 2028.
Absolutely deserved, by the way.
Absolutely
deserved.
Yes. Very impressed with what he's doing with the volleyball team. We'll be right back to preview some soccer and volleyball coming up this week for the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Stay tuned here on Red Wolf Roundtable.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to West Side football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
Welcome back here on Red Wolf Roundtable as we look forward to some soccer and volleyball coming up this week for the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Starting off with soccer, playing a pretty good team in Old Dominion. They go to Virginia this week. Defense has been pretty consistent throughout the season, but we're looking at the offense that has not just been over the top.
Yeah, so this Old Dominion team, I believe, is 8-2-4, 5-1-1 at home. So this is going to be a very tough opponent, to say the least. It might not seem like their offense is that good for Old Dominion, but when you have the record of 8-2-4, it's going to beg the question of how well can Arkansas State hold up against a high-end Sun Belt opponent when their offense hasn't been nearly as good as what we saw in non-conference. So we're going to say the same thing that we say every week. Where's the offense? We need the offense. We've seen it in moments, not seen it in moments, especially haven't seen it in conference play. Like we said earlier, 2 goals got called back, so that kind of changed the game for that Georgia State outcome. But nevertheless, this Old Dominion team is really good. So if our offense can pick it up, I think ultimately we can walk out of Virginia with a win and make a statement. Hopefully, this is another statement win that can happen. See if it happens, I guess.
Well, this is one of only 2 games left in the season for these Red Wolves, so we wish them luck in the remainder of what they have to play. Moving on to volleyball, big matchup Friday at Troy in Alabama. 8 more games left until the Sun Belt tournament, so it is crunch time, and these Red Wolves are hot right now. Kills per set, we see it. Arkansas State outweighs them in just about every single, every single statistic here. Arkansas State's running away with it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Troy team, I don't want to bog down on them. I wouldn't say they're the best opponent that we've played. Obviously, we're going to Troy, so it's an away game. You never put it past home field advantage. But that being said, we talk about it every single week and how good this defense is for Arkansas State's volleyball team, and that's going to be the real separator. We saw it this week against Texas State. The blocks were unreal. It was constant throughout the game. So I think that's what can separate this Arkansas State team against Troy, per usual. Just maintaining that same aggressiveness that Aaron Madigan said, and making sure you get high-quality plays and just improve where you can. And they said, as long as we play as well as we did against Texas State, I don't think anybody has a match against us.
Absolutely. Again, our record is 13-6 and 6-2 in conference play, and we look to improve upon that as we go to Troy this week. Stay tuned right here on Red Wolf Roundtable as we will preview the upcoming homecoming game for the football team, a big matchup this week here in Jonesboro. Mr. Krabs? Mr. Krabs!
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back as we get ready to talk about some football action after a bye week
of the Arkansas State Red
what has, we've gone without football since last Tuesday. A 10-game break for these Red Wolves. Homecoming versus Georgia Southern this week. Pretty even matchup, I would say. Both teams come in at 3-4. One thing that I've noticed about this team is the offense needs to be a little bit more explosive if we want to come away with the win here. I understand we are playing at home, and we have only lost 1 game at home this year. Points per game is a little bit higher for Georgia Southern. Their pass yards are much better. Their rush yards are a little better. And then they've had more touchdowns this season as well. So I will say we do have the home field advantage, and that has played to our advantage the entire season. Even against Iowa State, we were in the running in that game too. This is a big game for these Red Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. This kind of determines if we're going to go bowling or not. We don't have a lot of games left in the season. We're sitting at 3-4. Like you said, we're coming off a bye week and we're playing at home. So there's a lot of things going for us. This Georgia Southern team, I will say, is not the greatest. They have been very inconsistent all year. And I think we have an offensive advantage, I would say, over them. And their defense, similar to ours, not very good. They allow more points than they give up. So I think they average about 32 points per game when it comes to their defense and what they give up. So good signs point to us, I would like to say. I believe we're favored to win this game. And like you said, offense just has to stay consistent. We didn't see a lot of consistency last week against South Al. and we saw a lot of miscues. We saw underthrows, overthrows, some passes that should have been intercepted that just simply weren't. The run game wasn't going very well. We shot ourselves in the foot quite a bit, especially with flags early on in the game. So I think we have a good shot. I think we can win this game. I've seen the offense pick up steam early in that fourth quarter where they were more consistent. They got things going. We saw the run game with our running backs this time where we haven't seen that much during the season since Cross has gotten hurt.
And that's one thing that I was like thinking about, going into this game. Utilize your tools in the run game. We have so many great tools. Even in the wide receiving game, we've got great receivers. We've got great running backs. We have tools that could run Georgia Southern out of Jonesboro. We just need to use them. We have to have quick and efficient passes as well. Jalen Rayner last game.
Guys like Jalen Rayner
Of
the Arkansas State.
I do, but not until
run the ball
the very
and
end of the
pass
game
for
that we see that
200
his passes start to come to fruition and play out to win that ball game. I mean, we've already got Clune Van Andel, who's a weapon in himself, but he can only do so much.
Yeah, so I think a point that you made that was really good was I think at one point in the game, Jalen Rayner went 8 for 22.
I like guys like Jalen Rayner.
Yeah, he's very good.
Of the
He's very
Arkansas
good.
State Red Wolves.
I'll say that. But
Who can run the ball
some
and pass for
inconsistencies
200.
against South Al. Hopefully, we'll see that cleaned up more. One thing I would like to see that we haven't seen a lot this year is him being utilized in design QB runs. The guy has legs. He can use them well. We've seen it quite frequently, but we haven't seen designated plays that allow him to run. We saw some. We even saw our backup quarterback, Ethan Crawford, come in for a play and play running back. So we know our QBs can run. Let's let them do that, especially if we're letting our third-string quarterback play halfback for a snap. Defense, I think, played really well against South Al. They limited them quite a bit. We did see some breakaway runs in that second half, but they have picked up steam since that ULM game. I just think one of the things that they need to work on is the tackling, getting them down on that first attempt, because that's kind of been the driving factor of how some teams can create plays that have been nothing and they turn them into something.
Right, exactly. And now we have to look at where do the Red Wolves stand in the West. Are we going to go bowling? Here's the standings right now. Southern Miss and Troy are ahead of us right now. They have not lost a Sun Belt game. Arkansas State stands at third, which I don't think is a very bad position at all for these Red Wolves, especially with the pace of play that they have been playing this year, because they've been a little bit inconsistent. But we have, we're ahead of Texas State, which was not predicted to happen in the preseason.
Texas State has had a downfall.
Exactly.
Defensively.
Yes. But we still have to play both Southern Miss and Troy this year.
And then we have to play Louisiana. Let's not put it past them.
Yes. Louisiana is a solid team.
They've turned up quite a bit. And going forward, this is a schedule that's going to be rough, regardless if we're at home or not, because we're playing probably the best team in the West here soon. We said it was Texas State. That changed. It's Southern Miss now. I have full faith in Southern Miss that they're the best. But it begs the question, can we go bowling? We need 6 wins, of course. We play a lot of tough opponents. We sit at 3 wins right now, 2-1 in conference. Played some easier teams. A loss to ULM, unfortunately, but we beat South Al and we beat Texas State. As long as we can clean some things up, who knows? We can pull it out and go bowling this year.
Absolutely. Moving on to something that I've been looking forward to talking about for a very long time, and Kate knows this. Basketball action, baby. We are approaching fast on basketball season. Projected to finish second in the Sun Belt this year, our women's team, defending Sun Belt champions. We saw the preseason polls. Here it was, right behind JMU in the standings. Troy coming in third. These Arkansas State Lady Red Wolves, led by Destiny Rogers.
The best coach in the Sun Belt.
Yes, by far
Don't
the
care.
best.
She's the best coach in the Sun Belt.
Absolutely. We love Coach Rogers. But these girls are playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're defending Sun Belt champions, and all of these teams think that Arkansas State is the team to beat.
Yeah, I begs the question, why are we second behind JMU? JMU wasn't even in the finals for the Sun Belt tournament this year. Guess who was? Arkansas State. Who won it? Arkansas State. We went to March Madness this past year. We were ranked 13th last season, and we just destroy the competition, and we get put second. I find that questionable, especially with a lot of returning players. Some graduated. That's a given. But we got a lot of people back in that are speedy and athletic that you get to see here soon. So why are we second? Who knows? But like you just said, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because that ranking, they should be number one. We have the best coach in the Sun Belt. We have the best team in the Sun Belt. I don't see why they can't repeat this year.
Absolutely, and going along with our theme of being second behind JMU is our men's team in the men's Sun Belt preseason poll. Coming off a 20-win season and an NIT berth, we see it here right behind, guess who? James Madison. South Alabama comes in third and Troy in fourth. Some tough teams in the men's play in Sun Belt action this year. We know that several of these teams have the potential to be great, but Arkansas State, again, new coach, new program. I can kind of see this one a little bit more as to why they picked us to be second, just because there's a new coach, brand new team. It's pretty much an entirely different program than it was last year with Coach Hodgson. But Coach Pannone, I've been very impressed with his resume so far. He's had NBA assistant coaching experience. He's had college assistant coaching experience at Alabama last year. I think Coach Pannone and this team, looking at who they have, the transfers and all that, have a phenomenal potential to run the Sun Belt this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it great with how the understanding of us being second this year is a little bit more understandable than women's basketball, just because of the fact this is a completely new team, literally down to the core. And there is nothing that isn't new about this team. So there's a lot of excitement going forward. We saw Arkansas State play really well last year, so they have high expectations. With the people that they got from the transfer portal, sky's the limit with them. They're talented. Super excited to see what they do. Kind of what you were saying with Coach Pannone, it's not like he's a slacker.
Right.
He has the experience that can bring this team towards March Madness, kind of what we were hoping for last year, and we came up a little bit short. So maybe this year's the chance, this year's the time that a whole new team can, in a way, prove doubters wrong, even if we're second, prove doubters wrong, that a whole new team down to the core can make to March Madness that really hasn't had any chemistry. This will be their first year together.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see it, and the entire town of Jonesboro is excited to see it. All of Red Wolves Nation is excited to see it. We saw that last week with the sellout of Hoops and Howls. That event was completely sold out. And then we've got an upcoming preseason scrimmage game next Sunday, I do believe.
I think it's this week.
This week, yes, that is correct. Yes, this week. But I wanted to take a look at some of these players we have on both of these teams. We've had preseason Sun Belt honors awarded to several of them. Kristlyn Rose here, first team Sun Belt. Zion Shannon, second team Sun Belt. And Chandler Jackson on the men's team, second team Sun Belt. And then I do want to say honorable mentions to Winter Rogers and TJ Caldwell. Caldwell was our transfer from Ole Miss this past year. Winter Rogers was dominant last year in the Sun Belt, and I don't really understand why she wasn't in the polls. I think she's a phenomenal player. But we've got a lot of talent on both of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely, especially this women's basketball team. Kristlyn Rose as a playmaker at point guard. We didn't see her score a lot early in the season, but she picked up steam at the very end of the season. We saw a lot of what she can do. Her playmaking ability is downright insane. This is one of the best returning players that we could have asked for. Glad she stayed. She's going to make a statement for herself. She's going to show why she's first team. And on top of that, Zion Shannon. She was electric from the three line. She was amazing alongside Kennedy Montu last year. So respects to Zion Shannon. And this whole women's basketball team, like you were just saying, there's a whole lot of talent on this team that can explode. And who knows? And especially the same with the men's basketball team.
I think Pannone has done a phenomenal job at recruiting for this team, for this men's team, and I cannot wait to see what the season holds. Thank you for watching Red Wolf Roundtable for this week. We're going to send it with our guy Timmy right here. All right? He's our sound guy. Thank you, Timmy. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for watching Red Wolf Roundtable. We'll be right back here next week.